Disneyland or Walt Disney World? Which park is better? We're going to kind of talk through that today and see, really the question is, which park is better for you and your family, your group, and what you're trying to accomplish. I'm Stephanie with Unconditional Adventures. My best friend NanDee is joining me. We are both Disney aficionados. I cannot spell that, but I know that I am one. And so we're going to talk through the differences between the two campuses and see which one might be better for you. And also kind of talk about why having a travel agent on your side can be a huge benefit when you're trying to plan a trip to either Disney campus. So let's get into today's episode of This or That. Do you have a cool this or that? Yeah. I'm still workshopping the intro. So, all right. So Disneyland, we know obviously in California, Walt Disney World in Orlando. Disneyland is the OG park. So looking at just the sheer size difference of the two. So you've got Disneyland, which only has the 2 parks and 3 hotels. And then Walt Disney World, which has 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, and 855 hotels options to stay at. Or at least
I think they're building another one right now too, actually.
It actually just got finished right as we hit record. So yeah, the campus itself is so huge. So let's talk about like the differences between just the sheer size. Do you like the idea of the campus being huge, or would you rather have like more contained in Disneyland?
So I like both, but if I am pressed to answer, I like having it contained because it makes it easier to park hop. It makes it easier to go from one experience to the other experience. But I also really do like having the bigger campus, which means bigger options, more things to do, more things to experience.
Right.
So it comes down to how much time do you have?
Sure. Yeah, no, that's a huge question, and one of the important things to ask, like right off the bat. Now, you have been to both Walt Disney World and Disneyland multiple times, as have I.
Yeah.
We grew up in the Midwest, and so it was easy to go down to Walt Disney World. Now I live on the West Coast, and so Disneyland is way easier for me. And I know you've done like conferences and meetings and stuff at Disneyland, and so being able to like literally compare the two, I think you're spot on. It really does depend on how much time you have. If you are looking at, Disneyland being kind of like a 3-day type park, that's very doable, especially if you have a park hopper pass and can bounce back and forth between Disneyland Park and California Adventure. Plus downtown Disney sits like literally right between the two. So it's very easy to hit the restaurants and shopping or do the nightlife or whatever. It's literally all contained versus Walt Disney World, which is in fact its own city. It is a massive campus. So how many days, and you've been with the full family, like how many days do you feel is like super comfortable for Walt Disney World?
So for comfortable for Disney World, I'm probably going to say you need at least 5 park days because you need a solid day per park. And then you need another day to catch up on the things that you didn't quite get to before because it is so big.
Right. And it's interesting, like if you look at the park hours there too. So Walt Disney World consists of obviously Magic Kingdom, which is your big castle, nostalgia park. You've got Hollywood Studios, which used to be, remember what it used to be?
Yeah, MGM Studios.
Yeah. So back in the day. So Hollywood Studios is like mostly your Star Wars stuff and then a lot of Toy Story stuff there at Hollywood Studios. Also has a lot of cool like fireworks shows. Like Phantasmic is there, things like that. Then EPCOT, which everybody knows, the giant ball, and also the drink your way across the world kind of area, eat and drink back there. So a lot of the festivals are held at EPCOT, which is a giant park with like 2 rides.
It's got more than 2 rides. Be nice.
4. All right, 4. And then you've got Animal Kingdom, which is like, it's just an interesting concept in and of itself. And so you've got a lot of your like animal-y jungle-based rides that are there, and Avatar is over there. So, but the parks have like not wildly different hours, but Animal Kingdom almost always opens an hour early before everybody else and then closes way early. It's usually closed by 6 because the animals need their beauty rest. So it's closed usually by 6 versus the other parks, which will stay open until 10, 11, sometimes midnight during the summer. And so it makes that park hopping experience more strategic, but also doable because you are able to hit, Epcot doesn't take a full day. I'll just say it. Neither does Animal Kingdom. You can certainly spend a full day there. It doesn't take a full day. And so those are good days to either sleep in and go later, or if you want to go first thing in the morning, you can easily park hop to another park and kind of finish off your day there. So, but the size is big. I mean, it's a huge complex, and they call it being in the Disney bubble when you get inside of Walt Disney World, because you are. I mean, there is no outside world. It's all parks, all water parks. The Disney Springs shopping center is incredibly impressive, but also massive.
There's a Disney gas station.
Yep. Yeah. So it literally is its own world in there. And you can easily immerse yourself for easily 5 to 10 days. I've seen clients that have gone 14 days easy. And didn't you go at the week between Christmas and New Year's?
Yes.
Worst week of the year.
I have been on Christmas Eve and New Year's Day.
Yeah. You and 75,000 of your closest friends are.
Yep, it's everything they say that it is. It's crazy. It's insane. You can't even leave the park. However, it was still magical. They brought it, and everybody felt joy and delight.
That's awesome. And then you compare that to Disneyland, which again, much smaller. Disneyland is really considered like a locals park because Southern California, like everything is local. I mean, San Diego is considered local and it's, 2 hours away, but it's like a locals park. So it doesn't go through the big peaks and valleys that I feel like Walt Disney World does when it comes to being busy. It's kind of just either busy all year or not busy. Yeah. I mean, weekends are always going to be busier. During the week is always going to be slower. It's kind of like the locals park. And so it doesn't feel as busy. And also the people that are there, I mean, I'm sure you've experienced like the Disney crazy people. You don't see as much of that because these people have all been. It's impressive to see like how many people come fully stacked in like Disneyland gear at Disneyland because they've been there 1,000 times. And so it feels kind of more like your local neighborhood park versus Walt Disney World, which is an experience and it is like the thing you are there for kind of deal. So let's talk about what's at each of the campuses. So we'll start with Walt Disney World. We kind of talked about the franchises that are at each park, but Magic Kingdom, what's your impression? Like, what does it contain?
Magic Kingdom contains the nostalgia pieces. It's got the traditional rides. It connects me to the idea of Walt Disney and everything that he wanted to create. Like personally, I feel like I'm experiencing what Walt Disney wanted us to experience as far as joy and connection is concerned. It has the princesses, and then it has Pirates of the Caribbean. So it feels traditional. It feels like a callback to something that I want to reconnect with my childhood when I'm there.
And I also like that they are trying to throw in some of the cool adult rides as well. Like the Neutron Light Cycle Run is there, which is supposed to be, I have not ridden that. It's supposed to be the closest to like feeling like you're on a motorcycle. Probably what Hagrid's feels like over at Universal Studios. It's a very adult, fast, fun coaster ride. And so, yes, Magic Kingdom nostalgia. It has a lot of your classic Snow White, Peter Pan, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride type stuff. But they also are definitely making an outreach for the parents and the adults to say, hey, come check us out. And hands down, though, Magic Kingdom, I still think has best fireworks show, projection on the castle, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're a nighttime show person, like I would at least go over there to catch the nighttime shows because they are impressive. They put a lot of time.
No, their end of the night fireworks show and laser display at this point. I mean, it's unreal. And then they all have pretty good shows, but the Magic Kingdom one is unreal.
And then you have Epcot, again, which most people know. It's got the giant globe. You've got just a couple of rides there, but then it's got the World Showcase in the back, which is good for festivals, and we'll talk about those in a minute. It's a great way to kind of see literally food and drink from all around the world, and
Yeah.
customs from all around the world and things like that. It certainly does have, I think, my favorite coaster at in Orlando is the Guardians of the Galaxy coaster. Cosmic Rewind is at Epcot, which I freaking love that ride. But it doesn't have like, I wouldn't say it's like a franchise based park. It's more of like the experience and being around the world kind of park. They do have the one Guardians ride. Soren is there, which a lot of people love. That's again another nostalgia ride. You've got Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is back there, and Frozen is very popular. That Frozen ride, um, albeit I thought it was super lame. The ride is super popular, and people love it. It's back in, again, it makes sense. It's like back in Norway in that area. So it's got some cool stuff like that. No real franchises there, but it's a popular stop and a very popular park. Then you've got Hollywood Studios, like we talked about, which has all of your Star Wars stuff. So all of Galaxy's Edge is there. Um, Absolutely incredible. If you are even remotely a Star Wars fan, you will love it. Galaxy's Edge is awesome. That's got your Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run ride, and then of course one of the best rides of all time, Rise of the Resistance. It is all back in there. And then you've got Toy Story Land, which is a lot of your Slinky Dog Dash and a lot of the Toy Story stuff. Although they don't do the thing anymore where if you say Andy's coming and all the characters fall down, they stop doing that because people, that's all they did. And they anywhere. But there's a lot of cool meet and greets there. And those are the two big franchises that are at that park. That whole park is supposed to feel like you're in the movies. And so yeah, it's got a cool feel to it as well. And then Animal Kingdom, the only real franchise that's there is Avatar. And it's impressive. I'm not a huge Avatar fan. I think the land is impressive.
That is changing though.
Yeah.
Zootopia is going to be there.
True. And yeah, they've got something there already for Zootopia, but it is going to be built out some more to have more of that franchise as well. But Avatar is certainly super cool and worth riding the rides. It's got 2 rides back there. So those are the main franchises that are at that campus. You switch over to Disneyland. So again, that's Disneyland Park and California Adventure. So in Disneyland Park, it is kind of again, like your Magic Kingdom feel. It's got the castle and it's your big conglomeration of rides. But they do also have Galaxy's Edge there in Disneyland Park as well, which is, what's the word they call? Exactly the same. One in Orlando. They are identical. So yeah, the Galaxy's Edge is there as well. And then again, all of your nostalgia rides are going to be in Disneyland Park. They do have like It's a Small World, and then they've got Tomorrowland, which has like your Space Mountain and stuff like that. And then they just added the new Tiana's ride in the Bayou area of Disneyland. So that's kind of, again, for Star Wars is your big franchise that's there, but they've got a lot of the mainstream movie type rides there as well. And then over at California Adventure, my favorite part, Avengers Campus is there, which is continuing to be built out. And they're about to build out a new Avatar park into California Adventure as well. They're taking out a parking lot to put all the Avatar stuff in there, and then trying to build out a little bit more of the Disney villains feel in there as well. And then it has its own area called Pixar Pier that has a references to all of your favorite Pixar movies. Incredibles are back there. Toy Story Mania is back there. There's a what is it? Inside Out Emotional Whirlwind, which is really funny. So yeah, they've got a lot of, again, like the mainstream movies that are on that side as well. And that's got Soarin' and Monsters Inc. I think is about to close or just did close, but that's where the Avatar stuff is going to go. But yeah, it's going for like the 1920s Hollywood feel. So it's a completely different feel from any of the other parks, which I really like. So, okay, so we've named off all the parks. Which has your favorite like franchise stuff in the park?
So ultimately my favorite is going to be Galaxy's Edge. And like you said before, Galaxy's Edge is identical between Disneyland Park and Hollywood Studios. So I love being able to go to Galaxy's Edge, but I also really do love the Avengers campus at California Adventures. The Spider-Man ride, the characters, you cannot get the characters anywhere else. And they're good.
Yeah.
Like they interact exactly how it feels like you're inside the stories, inside the movies. And I love the meet and greet with the characters and the show that Doctor Strange has
Yeah.
in the Inner Sanctum Centaurium. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, it is. Avengers Campus is so cool. Like it really, and
Yeah,
you walk through it and they're having full on trainings, like conversations with you. They're like
yeah.
showing, Doctor Strange is showing, how to master the time turn, all this stuff. Like it's really cool. And you feel like you are there. I love Avengers Campus for that reason. It's very interactive. Even if you never rode a ride, it's incredibly
Yeah.
interactive.
Even the
Um,
restaurant, the Pim's
yep.
Test Kitchen, is just brilliant. It's so themed well, and it's just really fun.
Yeah, it's supposed to make you feel like you're the ant, and so all of
Yes.
is giant. It's very cool, very fun. And the only reason I like Galaxy's Edge better in Disneyland versus Orlando is because they
Okay.
made such an effort to make sure the land was completely hidden from view until you're in it. Even on the train ride, they stick you in a cave when you're going around Galaxy's Edge so that you don't see any of it from the train versus Hollywood Studios, where it's fairly visible from everywhere.
Yeah.
Still cool, don't get me wrong, but I really like the idea in Disneyland. They had just the landscape for it, where they could kind of build it in a way. It reminds me a lot of Diagon Alley over at
Yeah.
Universal Studios Florida. You walk through and then you're like, holy crap, this all was here the whole time and I never saw it. It's a lot like that. You kind of turn the corner and you're
Yeah.
like, oh dang, like we really are in Batu, a completely different planet, and it's a really cool feel to it. So I like that a lot on how they did it in Disneyland.
Yeah.
Let's talk some of the cool festivals that each site offers, and they do. They've got some really cool festivals throughout the year. If you look in Orlando, one of the most popular is International Food and Wine Festival over at EPCOT. It starts in the absolute worst time of year in Florida because it's in August. But man, it's so cool on how you get to try food and drink from around the world. You
Yeah.
can get like a tasting passport and try a bunch of different stuff. I really like food and wine. And in comparison, California Adventure has their own version of food and wine
Yeah.
that is completely different feel to it because it's in a park that doesn't have like that around the world feel to it. But they
Yeah.
still set up different booths for different countries and things like that. What I do like about Disneyland's or California Adventures Food and Wine is that you can buy a tasting passport and it like you pay one set fee and then you get a certain
Yeah.
number of things versus Epcot where you're paying for everything.
Right.
So yeah, I do like that. Food and wine in both places I've been, and I think it's really cool. Um, they've got obviously holidays are in both locations, and you're going to find any number of holiday parades,
Yeah.
cavalcades, meet and greets, things like that. So they both do. They go all out for the holidays, and
It
then after,
snows at Christmas time. It
yeah,
snows
yeah,
on Main Street. In both places, it
in both
snows. It's
places. Yep,
incredible.
yep, that is cool. And again, the projections on the castles are both just super cool. Like they really go all out. And same with the after hours events. I just got back from Disneyland After Dark Star Wars Night. Um,
Nice.
they kind of handle their after hours events the same. They're usually in one park. The park will close early that day, and then it's themed to something. So Disneyland will do more of like Pride Night or Star Wars Night. Last year they did a 90s night. This year they did a 70th anniversary because it's the Disneyland 70th.
Yeah.
Um, versus Disney World, which will do After Dark Epcot or After Dark Magic
Right.
Kingdom. And it just gives you the chance to run around that particular park. You get some popcorn, you get some ice cream. It's a much smaller capacity, and most of them are between like 125, 150 bucks for either way you go. So I kind of like Disneyland better in that regard because the after hours events are themed, and so you feel like you've got like a reason to dress up and more of that
Right.
particular thing. But I'm a sucker for an after hours event if there's fewer people and I don't have to wait in line very long
Right.
either. Have you
I'll
been
be
to any of
going
those?
to Oogie Boogie Nights for the first time in September, so
Nice.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, so Oogie Boogie is their Halloween event at California Adventure, and it's you get to go trick or treating. You get again like fewer wait times, and the Disney World equivalent would be Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party at Magic Kingdom. They really do. They go all in for those things, and it's cool. You get to trick or treat, you dress up in costume, and it's not just for kids. That's the thing. Like, man, these events are so fun. Literally, no matter what age group you're in, there is something there for you. And after hours, if you're just there for the rides, you're gonna love it. If you're there for the candy, obviously you're gonna love it. Like, if you just want to experience like a park literally after dark, I love going to a theme park at night. I love,
Yeah.
The dark aspect of it, riding rides at night, all of that stuff. And so, yeah, it's a cool experience to get to do that as well. You're going to pay for it, but it's a cool experience to be there with fewer people and less wait time, all that stuff. Is that the only after dark you've been to? Or you're going to?
Yes. Yeah, as a specific after dark event, yes. I've been to all of the night shows that are available at all of the different Disney World parks, and then I have also done both of the light shows that are at in California, the not PhilharMagic, the Phantasmic show, and then the Colors of Light.
World of Color.
Thank you, World of Color.
Yeah.
I've also seen that one too, and they're both well, they're all incredible. So I've seen those, but as far as the nighttime after dark experiences, this will be my first for Disney.
Awesome. They're cool events. I like like I said, the Disneyland ones are themed, so I kind of lean more towards those. But it's a great experience, a way to see the park, especially if there's something that you really love and that's what you're going for. It's a good way to do it. Let's talk about weather between the two places. So Orlando, is probably the second most humid place on the planet. It's disgusting during certain times of the year. And unfortunately, those times tend to be like the busier times. So during the summer, it gets really hot. It can get humid if it rains. And then when you get into like normal hurricane season, I mean, the humidity is just oppressive. Like the weather is oppressive at times. Versus Disneyland, you've got California, which is no humidity. It stays relatively even in temperature throughout the year. I went last year, I think I went in March or April, and they got up in the upper 80s and people were freaking out because it was so hot versus Orlando where it's 85, at 1 a.m. You're like, oh my gosh, please let up. So thoughts on weather, like how do you kind of combat that in either place?
Yeah, no, I agree completely with what you're saying. And for Florida, you accept the humidity. You wear cooler clothes, you ride the water rides whenever you do need to cool down, and you just accept the humidity and know that it's worth it. And then in California, my experience with California is that it is moderate, but it also has rained a lot for me during the parks. And I will say how impressed I was with the fact that it rained every day that I was there. The last time that I was there, it rained all 5 days. At some point in time, it rained all 5 days. And sometimes it was heavy, but it didn't stop anything. We still rode the Incredicoaster and went upside down when there was rain coming down at us. So they were prepared for the rain. They were prepared for the weather. And it was actually really fun. It didn't matter that it was raining.
Yeah, it's in Orlando. You'll see a lot more like rides closing for lightning and storms and things like that than what you see in California for sure. Now, I will say the plus side on Florida, usually when it rains, it's like short lived. So especially in hurricane season, you're going to have a chance of rain every single day, but it may last for 30 minutes and that's it. And then it clears out and the humidity swoops back in and it's all disgusting again. So yeah, it just kind of depends on this time of year. But it's funny to me because again, growing up in the Midwest, we had humidity and warmer weather. When I was at Star Wars night, what is this? I was on there on May the 4th. I think when I got to the park at 6 p.m., it was 62 and people were already wearing coats. And I was like, what is happening? Like, it's not even cold. But yeah, so it's just a completely different, climate and feel to it. I feel like it's a long day is much easier to do in Anaheim than Orlando just because of sheer weather. But
Yeah.
Again, with Orlando, you've got so many options of
Yeah.
getting out of the heat, getting into the water, things like that. There are no water parks in Anaheim, so and there's only a handful of water rides, if that. So it's a little bit
Well,
harder to
there's
get
one
out.
big one in each park in California.
Yeah,
Tiana's is going to get you soaked, and then the Grizzly Falls is going to get you soaked. So there is
right.
one big water ride in each park.
Yeah, and you know it on a hot day. Tiana's is 180-minute wait. And you're like, dear God, stick my head under a faucet or something. So yeah, weather is certainly something to keep in mind,
Yeah.
especially depending on like age of your kids, age if you're bringing grandparents. Like you
Yeah.
got to keep all that stuff in mind when it comes to what time of year you're going and which park might be better, because it will drain you. Like
Yeah.
humidity and things like that are draining. It's just oppressive, and you feel gross all day long, and you're just ready to be done. And I mean, we've seen it plenty of times where your kids are like melt down and that's it. It's tough. And so you really have to, you know,
Yeah.
strategize about that and make sure that that is part of your planning is when are you going? And so that you
Yeah.
know what kind of weather to expect there as well. Um, what else have we missed anything that we haven't covered?
Um, I
Transportation,
did want to what?
transportation, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. I did want to throw in that my favorite festival of all, I know we already did festivals, but I did want to say my favorite festival of all is the Arts Festival that
Oh
takes
yeah.
place every year in
Got
Florida. Yeah, at Epcot. The art that you get to see and that you get to participate in. There's artists put art everywhere, including on the sidewalk. There's just amazing, beautiful, intricate things that you just get to experience because it's only during the festival. But then there's also big communal, like giant communal art projects that you get to participate in. And you know that you're part of this art that's being created at this
yeah,
place where you're having so much fun and you're just connecting with delight and joy. And I just love that festival. I love
it's
that
awesome.
festival.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good one. I do like the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot. It's probably my favorite in Orlando. In California, well, I liked California too,
Yeah.
but I also really liked the Lunar New Year that they do at California Adventure.
Okay.
That's like January, February each
Sure.
year,
For
and
sure.
it's so fun. Like so much stuff happening in the streets and so much culture, and that's a really cool festival to go to as well. And
Nice.
at a time when the park is not super busy because the kids are
It's
at school,
busy.
and
Yeah.
man, you go during the week, and yeah, it doesn't feel like there's many people there at all, so that's fun.
Right.
Transportation. So Disneyland, not a huge need for it. They're, literally, we're not kidding. Like the gate to California Adventure, you walk across the parkway and there's Disneyland. Like it's
Yeah.
just that simple. And then everything behind you goes to Disney or downtown Disney, which leads to the three hotels: Disneyland Hotel, Grand
Yeah.
California has its own entrance into California Adventure. Pixar Place is the third hotel. It did have its own entrance, so they've closed it down, but you can get in through the Grand California entrance
Mhm.
into California Adventure. So very easy transportation system. They still do have buses because not everybody wants to walk everywhere. But that's really it. There's just a handful of buses that take you back to the parking lots or take you to the
There is a
hotels.
monorail. There
Oh,
is a
and yes, thank you.
monorail that runs from the Pixar and then the Disney Hotel that are right there together. And you can get on there and it will take you to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah,
So there is a monorail. It's a pretty short one, but there is a
yeah,
monorail.
it is cool. And yeah, so the monorail just reopened, and so yes, that's another form of transportation that you have there. Versus Orlando, which also has the monorail. It also has the Skyliner, which will take you from certain hotels to either Hollywood Studios or Epcot. And that's
Boats.
why it's like the gondola. Yeah, they have boats that will take you to several
You
of the
can get
parks
there
and
by land,
properties
sea, and
and
air. You're
air.
covered.
Yeah. And then outside of that, you have what feels like 75 shuttle options to take. And literally, I remember when we went back in high school, and it was just like you got on a bus and you had to ride it all the way around until it got to your stop. And now Disney has really gotten good at the transportation system. When you come out of a park, all of their shuttle buses are in a line, and each one is labeled. This one's going to the Grand Floridian. This one's going to this hotel. This one's going to All Star Animation,
Yeah.
whatever. And so they're all going to the different hotels. This other shuttles are going to the different parks. Like they have it down to a science. So you know
Yeah.
exactly where you're going and exactly which bus to get on, which is super duper helpful and cuts down on time. But the transport system there is like, it's just crazy. There's so many different ways to get there. And
Yeah.
again, you really have to know what goes to where and when. And so having either an experienced person in your group, having a travel agent on your side is very helpful
Yeah.
because it's just a strategy thing and it feels like a lot. Some people like the idea of Disneyland just because you literally have fewer choices. And we all know in psychology, sometimes when you have fewer choices, you're happier with your decision because you don't have FOMO
Yeah.
versus Disney World where you have so many options, so many choices, so many places to go. And yeah, it can feel certainly overwhelming, but they have also gotten really good at helping you get where you need to go and making
Yeah.
that a little bit easier to navigate. So you get there, park your car, and you don't need your car ever again until you leave. Kind of thing. Okay, so favorite park at each campus.
Okay, so for Florida, my favorite park is going to be Hollywood Studios.
Mm. Yeah, I would say that's probably mine as well. I love the Star Wars stuff, obviously, and then the shows and the Phantasmic and everything are really cool. Okay, over at Disneyland.
It's going to be California Adventures. It's a hard choice because I love the Star Wars things and I love the traditional rides. I love the Matterhorn, even though you need a chiropractor when you're done with it. But I really I love the Incredicoaster. It's my favorite ride out of both California parks. The Incredicoaster is just really fun. So
Yeah,
I would go ride that over and over and over again. But I love the Cars world. I love how immersive it is. I love everything that's there. And then it's got the Avengers campus too. So,
yep,
and if they will build more rides, it would make it even an easier in Adventures campus. I would like another Avengers ride,
yeah.
but
There
that's
is
me.
one coming.
What's it
They're
themed
in.
on? What is it?
So it's going to be Stark Labs inside the Avengers building,
Yeah,
like where the
yeah,
ship sits on. It's going to be
yeah.
inside there. Uh,
Sweet.
and the ride vehicle is supposed to look like, in the Monsters Inc. movies where they're swinging from the swing. It's
Yeah.
supposed to look like that. So I think it's
Okay.
going to take some from Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey of the Claw. I think they're going to take
Okay.
some of that idea
Okay. A
and
claw
make
ride.
that into
Okay.
a ride. But yeah,
That's
that's
exciting.
coming in a couple of years, and that's going to be awesome. I would agree. I see like Disneyland Park has some really obviously the Star Wars stuff again is really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the Indiana Jones ride is there, which I think is an absolute blast, and they don't have in Florida, which I really like that ride. And it has the cool nostalgia type stuff, but California Adventure is just tough to beat.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy, which is their version of Towers of Terror, is
Mhm.
so freaking fun. I love that ride and I love the soundtrack on it. I try to get a different one every time. It's just so fun. And yeah, the Avengers campus is incredible. Incredicoaster. Have you ever smelled the cookie smell? They're supposed to
Yeah.
pump it in. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, Incredicoaster is an absolute blast. I love like Toy Story Mania. I mean, all of the stuff back there is
Yeah.
really really fun. So I agree. I really like California Adventure. It's tough to beat. The feel of it, it's like feels more open and things like that. So it doesn't. And World of Color is phenomenal. I
Yeah.
love that show and
Yeah.
all of its iterations for sure. So yeah, the important part again is to really kind of figure out which of these two campuses is better for you and your group. If you are a group that wants to spend an entire week like just completely immersed in Disney and you don't mind the different navigations of getting park to park and using the water parks and getting to the different hotels or whatever. Walt Disney World, I mean, it's where Disney puts most of its stuff. Like they really do. They put most of their new movies, the new characters, the bigger stuff goes there first because that's the big money maker for them.
Yeah.
So Walt Disney World is impressive and you can certainly have an absolute blast there. It's just about timing. And are you okay with like a lot of the navigation getting between all the different places?
Yeah.
Are you okay with feeling spread out and that kind of stuff? Disneyland, I think again has better weather. It's much more contained. It's easier to navigate. And because of that, you have fewer options. There's no water park. There's just the two parks. They don't have as many of like the franchise things, stuff like that. So fewer options, but easier to get around, much bigger, a lot more options, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So which one works better for you and your group? I'm a Disney authorized travel agent, have been for a long time, and love to plan trips to both. And that's really what I try to help people focus on is how much time do you have? When do you want to go? What kind of budget are you working with? And what are the things that you're trying to accomplish? Because it makes a huge difference when you're in the planning process of what is most important to you. I do think the Disney World hotels even offer more, like, the Grand Floridian has brought back afternoon tea. There's just so many things to do that it is easy to spend all your time there. And next thing you know, it's 10 days later and you're like, holy cow. So, again, what are you after? What's most important to you? What franchises do you want to see? What kind of things do you want to accomplish? Those are the questions to really kind of ask yourself and see, which one is better for you. So
100%. It helps to have a travel agent. Even though I've been to both parks, I have been to both parks as a younger person, as a person with small kids, as a person with big kids, teenage kids, adult kids, and then also I've been all by myself as an adult. It still can be overwhelming because they're always adding things, they're always changing things. Things can randomly be closed. The last time I was at Disneyland, I couldn't ride Guardians of the Galaxy because it was down for a 6-week refurbishment. And I didn't know it because I didn't know how to ask the question. I didn't know how to get the information that I needed in order to really successfully plan my day and eliminate some of the anxiety and the overwhelm that comes from planning a big, important trip. Because, in today's world, it's hard. No matter who you are, it can be really hard to commit the resources that it takes to go have these amazing adventures. It's 100% worth it, but it's hard to commit all of those resources. And you want to know that you're getting exactly what it is that you've envisioned in your head. So the number one thing that I've learned is that it helps tremendously to have somebody who knows the exact right questions to ask to get me to the point that I'm actually going to. I know that I want to have fun. I know that I want my kids to have fun, but how do I make that happen? It can be very overwhelming. So having somebody who knows the right questions to ask to get me to that point really eliminates a lot of the overwhelm and really does help set us up for just enjoying. We don't have to figure out on the fly as we hit the ground running. We already have a plan and we have contingencies for flexibility and for, holy cow, there's Cinderella, let's go see her, because it works. And there's a ton of value in having somebody who knows the questions to ask, but then also knows the answers to the questions.
Sure. Well, and just the shameless plug of why a travel agent is better than like ChatGPT or AI for that very reason. Like yes. Google doesn't know what you're trying to accomplish. Google doesn't know what's most important to you and your kids, the people in your group. Like Google also doesn't know or ChatGPT doesn't know what would make it the perfect trip for you. That's all a conversation you can have with your travel agent. And that's what we do is we're like, okay, this is what you want to accomplish. Yeah. And here's how you get there. No two trips are the same. I've had people tell me, I want you to help me plan an exact trip like what they did, but they're not the same. Your goals are not the same as other people's goals. No two trips are alike. And so that's why it's nice to have a person on your team that can help you with that. So, okay. So you're taking your full family. Everybody's going with you. Which one are you picking?
I'm taking my full family. Everybody's going with me and we have enough time. Then I'm going to pick Disney World.
Okay.
Because there's more. Yep. If I'm time limited, I'm going to pick Disneyland because you can fully immerse yourself and get the full experience of all the days that you do have and you feel successful, you feel satisfied.
Yep. Yeah. And me on the solo route, I always pick Disneyland if I'm going solo, unless I'm going to be in Orlando for something else and I can do like one day at a park. Then I will go. So if I know that like, if I'm, going to Universal for something and I know I've got, last year I went to the opening event for Halloween Horror Nights and I had one day left over and I was like, let's go to Food and Wine at EPCOT. So I spent the day there. So I'll do, things like that. As a solo traveler, it's a lot easier to get around and to navigate those things, especially knowing what I'm doing. But I agreed. Like it really does come down to how much time do you have, and how much do you want to spend? How easy is it for you to get to Orlando versus California? Things like that. So yeah, lots of things come into play. So please reach out to me. Comment below so we know which one is your favorite park. Which would you rather go to? Would you rather go to Walt Disney World in Orlando, or do you like Disneyland in California better? What comes into play when you're making your decision? Like, what's the most important part to you, and to help you choose between the two? Ask any questions that you have. Put those in the comments. We're happy to answer those. Like, that's what we're here for, and like want to engage in conversation with you. So, again, like, do you like the weather in California better, or in Florida better? I've met people who like the humidity, and I slap them, and it's like, why would you like this better? But yeah, what's most important to you? Like, what are you looking for? Which park do you like better? We're always, loving to answer, questions and comments and things like that. So be sure you comment below. If you haven't liked the video, please do. Send it to somebody who's looking at a Disney trip and wants to kind of narrow down their decision. Pass that along. It'll help me out, and I appreciate all the help there for the growth. And of course, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I've done other this or that episodes. There's more to come as well as strategy videos. And you can check out my time as a solo traveler or with other people as we go to Disney World, Disneyland, Universal Studios, Orlando, and Hollywood as well. So check it out. Plenty of fun stuff there as well. NanDee, thanks for being on the episode. Appreciate your knowledge. And look at your cute ears. All I did was wear my Thor shirt. No, I didn't have anything cool. I'm not an ears person. I have not gotten on the ears train. I have a set of Captain America ears. I just have them.
Won't wear them, huh?
No, I'm not there yet.
That's okay.
It took me this long to buy a magic band. So I mean, yeah. Anyway, all right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy adventuring.
Yes.